Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with Coach Abby. I'm Coach Abby and also founder of Be Love, Give Love. So today, I want to share and hopefully inspire you to take that bold step of faith that you've been thinking about, that's been wrestling in your heart. And I know from personal experience how hard it is to take a big step of faith. And I've taken many over my journey, many, and I will share quite a bit of that with you. And it's incredibly hard. It's to the point where you just feel like sometimes that fear will take over, and you get to that place where you get into this doubt and reasoning and overthinking and analyzing and what if this and what if that, and it just paralyzes you and you don't take that step forward. I've been there. But if that desire in your heart is there, and you know it's from God, what's the next step? Of course, take the step. Well, I can't. I got all this emotion going on. I got all this stuff and it's hard. And what are they going to think? Or what are people going to think? What if I fail? What if it goes wrong? All the things. And then that just keeps you in that safe, comfortable space. I'm not one to really read out of the book, but this is my book. And as I was pondering what to share, I was like, man, I share some really good meat in this part in my second book. So I want to just read this short part, and then we'll just have a heart to heart conversation. So for years, fear paralyzed me, which eventually led to hitting rock bottom. I would never move forward in life when I felt fear. I believed it was a warning of danger, and I needed to stay where I was comfortable and safe. And so that is what I did. But something was wrong with that picture. Was my life's goal to be safe and comfortable? The trials I endure and share in this book reveal God's constant prompting to do the uncomfortable and to be strong and courageous. I remember when God spoke to my heart and said, "You cannot have courage without fear. You cannot have courage without fear." That statement spoke loudly to me. I had to sit with it for a moment and ponder it. Then his still small voice proceeded to say, "If you truly want to be strong and courageous, then you are going to feel fear, but don't let it stop you from moving forward. If you truly want to be strong and courageous, like the Bible says, he says, be strong and courageous. If you truly want to be strong and courageous, then you are going to feel fear, but don't let that stop you from moving forward." It does, and then he proceeds to share on my heart. This is still small voice. This is the voice of the Lord speaking to my heart. It doesn't take strength or courage to go the safe, comfortable, easy route. You're going to have to continually step out in faith despite any fear or uncomfortable feelings you may have. And then he goes on to say, "Remember, I'm always with you." And then there's one little part in here that I remember just spoke so profoundly as I thought about it. And I had this thought that I didn't want to get to heaven and hear God tell me that I missed his very best because I played it safe. I missed his very best because I played it safe and wanted the easy, comfortable route. And all because I allowed fear to paralyze me. Instead, I wanted and still want to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." So keep refining me, God, until all they see is you in me. So that was me sharing from my heart, my own journey of having to deal with all this stuff. So I didn't want to play it safe, and I didn't want the safe, easy, comfortable route, but our flesh does. I mean, my deep inner knowing, I was like, I just know I'm cowering back, and I'm fearing, and it's just safe. Let me just pull back. Oh, this feels better. This is peaceful. Of course it is. It takes no strength or courage to step out, or it takes strength and courage to step out. But when you're in that safe, comfortable place, it's like, oh, well, anybody can do that. Just like when I say, it takes nothing to love people who are just like you. Nothing. Nothing. That takes no ounce of God. Anyone can do that. But it takes a mighty move of God in your heart to love people who are nothing like you, who don't vote like you, believe like you, act like you, dress like you, parent like you, not the same sexual orientation, any of it. That's where God really wants to tap into your character and see, can you love those people? Can you love the people who don't do good to you? Can you love the people who are your enemies, that are totally against you, that slander you, that falsely accuse you? There is a way to do that, just as there is a way to be strong and courageous, but not on your own strength. All the things that I did in my life, all the things that I've done that were hard, that I felt inadequate, I felt incapable, I thought, this is bigger than me, I can't do this, were terrifying. But that deep knowing, I just knew that I knew that I knew God was saying, I need you to do this. And I had to spend so much time with him to be able just to muster up the courage to be able to do what he was asking me to do. Apart from him, we can do nothing. He says he is a vine, we are the branch. Apart from him, we can do nothing. So if you're trying to take these bold steps of faith on your own strength, I don't think it's really going to work. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be in chaos. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to probably make the wrong decisions, things like that. But if you just learn to be still and lean upon God and rely upon him, I mean, that's my faith. I tell you to take the nuggets and leave the rest as you listen to me. Some people that are listening aren't Christian. I get that. But there's still this knowing, like, there's got to be something outside of you bigger than you that can help you move forward in these steps of faith. So let's backpedal to this first book that I wrote. Okay. And this has been revamped. And so the first book I wrote was actually called Blossoming Out of the Valley. And I felt so inadequate. First of all, if you've heard me speak, I don't speak proper English. I'm a small town country girl that was raised in a little town, 202 people. We have double negatives, and I just don't care. I mean, that's who I am. I don't spell well. I write like I speak, which is a big no-no when you're writing a book. And I just felt completely inadequate to write this book. But I knew that I knew that I knew that I knew I was called to write this book. And this first book is just about me hitting rock bottom and everything God asked me to do to get to a place where I could, be more steady and stable. And so I knew he was asking me to do it. And, but I remember just saying, I can't, I don't even know where to start. And it was such an incredible wrestle that I just wouldn't move forward. It's almost like I had to have all of it. I had to have the courage. I had to have the peace. I had to have the understanding. I had to know what I was going to write. I had to just all of it. I needed to see the whole staircase before I took a step. That's not faith at all. That takes no strength. Just like I said about loving people who are just like you, that takes nothing. But when you're able to take that step of faith without seeing the whole staircase, when you're able to lean in, trust in, and rely on God without seeing all of it, and just take that next step, that's when you know you're connected and you're just believing that you're going to just walk by faith and not by sight. And you're like, God, this is hard, but I'm going to be strong and courageous. I'm not going to shrink back. I'm not going to play it safe. I'm not going to sit where it's comfortable and sit on the sidelines in life when everything's just easy peasy. Life is good. That takes no ounce of strength, no ounce of courage, no ounce of God, just to sit back and just coast. And you were meant for more than that. So am I. But everything, people look at my life and like, oh, you've done so much or this or that. I'm like, it wasn't easy to do this. Everything that I have done, I've written 2 books, podcast, doing the lives, I've opened this, beautiful place that God asked me to. We have an autistic son, we're military, deployments, leaving everything I knew in Missouri to follow my husband who felt called by God. And we knew he was supposed to join the military at 33, which is unheard of. But it's been hard. It's been hard. And I had all the same feelings that you have. And still to this day, if God asks me to do something that's hard, I still get all of those butterflies and, oh my gosh, what if this and what if that? But I know that is the energy and the force and the evil that's keeping me, that's trying to keep me from moving forward. And my own doubt and reasoning and confusion and lack of faith and what if and all of this and what if it doesn't go right and what if I fail and what if people laugh at me and what are they going to think and what if the money's not there and all of that stuff is just okay. I need to see the whole staircase, and God's just like, I just need you to trust me with the next step. And as you take that first step, it's like just God steps in. The miraculous steps in. The provision comes when you take that step. You have to take that step. You have to be strong and courageous. So if you're waiting for everything just to be roses and just have this overwhelming, like joy, joy, peace, peace, it's not going to be there. That's what I wanted because, like I said, when in the book where if I had any fear, I thought there was danger. It was a warning sign. For me, I always, and I coach people, and I help them off the ledge. It's part of my coaching. I coach people in the sense of like, you're going to have that peace. You're going to have that knowing. And if you're listening and you know that you're called to do the next step, you have that knowing already in your heart. So and everything I've been asked to do, I've had that knowing, that deep resonating peace deep within, like this is what God's asking you to do. Well, then as soon as you have that, there's going to be a force that just brings in all this other stuff, and your own thoughts are going to bring in all this stuff and kind of try to, their goal is to quench that peace. And then you just sit idle and you're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But you have to know that you know that you know. And so I always lean back on that. Now, at first I didn't because I didn't know to do this, but how many times I've taken steps of faith, I go back to God. I know that I know that I know you're asking me to do this. So I'm going to trust that you're going to be able to fill in the blank, whatever you need. Give me the strength, give me the ability, give me the mindset, give me the provision, give me the vision, give me whatever to be able to do it. And 100% of the time, 100% of the time, he has been faithful. But would he have been faithful? Would all of this have happened had I not taken the step? A lot of people want to see everything before they take that step. And that's typical. Really, it is. But God is asking you to just trust with every step, believe with every step, and just go. Just go. If you stumble, part of the reason why I didn't want to take steps of faith too, because I was afraid that I would mess up and it wasn't going to be perfect and maybe I would get in trouble. And, like I'd reap what I sow and like, you should have not done this and all that noise, that energy of like, well, you can't do it because it's just, what if it's not perfect? What if it's not put together right? What if and God wrecked that when I did the product line. So, that was a big step to trademark this, to spend the money to trademark this. So we own the logo and we actually own the Be Love, Give Love phrase. And I've messed up so many times, but God says there is grace. And his word that I still use to this day, and that came, I think, in 2019, tweak it and keep moving forward. But God is not there just ready to strike you down because you didn't do it perfectly. That everything was just not in perfect order and you failed and you just didn't do perfectly. I've messed up. I've stumbled. I've spent money that, wasn't the success that I thought it was going to be and all of that stuff. And I don't feel like I was doing anything on impulse or anything like that. I genuinely felt like I was following the leading of the Spirit. But I think that God sometimes allows us just to fumble around to just see, are you going to just get back up and trust that I got you? He says, though we stumble, we will not fall. And he wrecked that. And so he wrecked the thought of me needing to have it all perfect and then take the step, or just be so intimidated to take a step because, oh gosh, what if I mess up? What if I mess up? And he's like, you're going to mess up. Abby, you're going to mess up. So just know that. You're going to mess up. You're going to stumble. You're going to take a wrong turn. You're going to do it backwards. You're going to do whatever. It's not going to be perfect. And he never expects perfection. God never expects perfection. This was so profound when he was speaking that to me. He's like, I don't expect you to be perfect. He just expects your heart to be surrendered to him and to show up with excellence. And that's a hard thing for people. A lot of times people's hearts aren't surrendered. And a lot of times people aren't want to do excellent. They just, I'm going to do it however I want. That's not me. That's not where I'm at. I show up with excellence. I do everything the best that I can. And that's helped me because I know I can't do it perfectly. So I know I'm giving my very best in everything I do that God's asked me to do. And it's not going to be perfect, but my heart is to give my very, very best. And God will bless it because my heart's right. I'm not going in there doing it halfway. I'm not going in there with a wrong heart motive. Look at me, look what I'm doing, or I'm doing it for all the fame and the riches and the money and all that. None of that's there. My heart genuinely is just following the leading of the Spirit, trusting God with results, period. But all the steps I have taken tremendous courage, tremendous faith. And as those feelings came up that wanted to cause me to shrink back, I would just say, no, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep taking that step of faith. I'm going to keep being bold. And there's always a turbulent season. So I've done many steps. So this is for the person that maybe has done step 1 or step 2, and it's just hard, and you're in that turbulent season. Maybe you've taken the step and everything's just haywire, and it's just backwards and chaos and all that. And you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? There's turbulence. So anytime I take any type of step, there's always this adjustment period that God has coined the name as turbulence. It's just turbulence. When Tim's deployed, there's a turbulence of me trying to adjust back to me being kind of a single mom. When we put Shia in public school years ago, there was turbulence. When I opened this place, there was turbulence. When I've written the book, turbulence. When I've done these Facebook Lives, there was turbulence. And it lasts for 2 to 3 weeks for me now. And it's just this unsettling until I find my footing. So go in knowing there's going to be this unsettling time of just finding that new rhythm until you find your groove, and then it will just balance out and you'll be like, okay, this is it. But so often when we get into that turbulent, I did too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done it wrong. Something's wrong. Everything's chaos. Everything's this way or that way. It's just too much. There's the piece is gone. And I would shrink back and be like, and get in my own head thinking I've made the biggest mistake. Well, God's helped me and equipped me to go, nope, that's just normal. That's normal. And it's normal that you're not going to do perfect. And we're just going to tweak things, dial it in a little bit more, keep moving forward. Tweak it, keep moving forward. And I still to this day tweak it and keep moving forward. There's such a release in my heart I can just tweak things. God can just tweak things through me. It's okay. I'm gonna stumble, but don't shrink back. Don't just throw out the baby. Don't just toss it out. I feel like I have like 5 kids right now. And that's a lot to juggle. I only have 1 kid. I mean, I have Shia, but 5 business type kids, like I'm juggling. And I normally don't like that. I like to just be blocked in, let's write a book and get that book out. But God showed me that, yeah, I've given you these seasons where we're going to write the book. We're going to write the second book. And that's like, I'm laser focused for like 1.5 years. And that took courage to do that. But then I'm just got my head down and working. And then when I did the Breakthrough podcast, which I recorded 76 episodes, and that's $30 a month membership, that was like, we just recorded. And I didn't have this place here. And then when we did the product line, it was like head down. We did the markets, head down, all that. So there's been these seasons where I'm just, it's just one thing. And now we've got this place, this nice, beautiful, I think it's like 1,900 square foot, beautiful, well, I call it a wellness oasis. And where I get to coach people and teach and inspire and allow people to come in and just this gathering space and just love on people, be love, give love, and just speak life into them. But now it's like all of it's coming together, and I've got these things, these 5 kids, the lives and the podcasts and the books and the events and the markets and all this, and I'm juggling it, and I'm like, it just seems like a lot. Well, God's just like, no, you've just got 5 kids and you're capable and you're able. So you've got to speak life over yourself and over everything God has asked you to do, and lean in on him. Trust in, take that time to be still. That's what this whole first book is about. living still, and the second one, because it's still living still, but it's about learning how to truly be still and hear that still small voice. Living still is when everything within you is calm, peaceful, and still. That's kind of the definition. Like you can turn down the voice of the world and all the noise and all the stimulations and all the social media and all of that and tune into the voice of God. And then you have this like connection point where you can always hear that still small voice. You have that knowing, that intuition, that deep knowing, and it's there all the time. And if you don't have that, I encourage you to get the books. If you feel like you're disconnected from this what I call power source, God, the all-knowing God that knows everything from beginning to the end, he'll just give you everything you absolutely need. You need comfort, it's there. Clarity, it's there. Wisdom, it's there. Direction, it's there. Encouragement, it's there. A little push, it's there. Just, to climb up on what I call daddy's lap and just be held, it's there. But we're not tapping into that. And that alone, stillness with God, stillness with daddy, climbing up on his lap is what has equipped me to do absolutely everything that I do. Apart from him, I could do nothing. So that's where I get my boldness from and my courage and my ability to be peaceful in the storm, my ability to love people who are nothing like me. It's not me, y'all. It is not me. It's me because I'm like a co-partner with God, and I choose out of my free will to take those steps forward to be still with him. Yeah, that's me. But it's God that does the work in my heart to where he's flowing out of me to be able to do all the things, to be able to be peaceful when a husband's deployed and you got a special needs son, you got a business and all of that. Like, I'm not chaotic. My life's not chaotic. My spirit is not overwhelmed. Now there'll be moments, but I just tweak things and I keep moving forward. I want to radiate his peace and his love and his joy. I mean, this is walking in peace in the midst of life, walking in peace during life's trial. That's what I choose to be. Like peace, living still when everything within me is peaceful. And then the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Like my words are peaceful, my actions are peaceful. Like life is just peaceful. And that's not because, I'm just peaceful. That's just who I am. No, it's because God has done a work in my heart and I choose to press in and rely on him. That's why I can do the things that I'm doing. And that's why I coach too. I get you to that place where you draw upon the vine, that you take time to plug yourself in, that you disconnect from the world, that you surrender your heart so you're able to take these bold steps of faith, so you're able to be strong and courageous, so you're able to not shrink back in fear and be paralyzed in that. And that's something only God can give you. And I want to infuse that life in you as a coach and just help you come up higher. There's a different way to live. It's not just be love, give love. But God says, the greatest commandment is to love him and to love others. When you get to that place where you take time to be still, not out of a sense of duty or obligation or your religious check mark, hey, I did my prayer time, I did my stillness time, my quiet time, whatever. No, it's just because you yearn for it, you hunger for it, you thirst for it, and you tap into that, then you're better able to be love and give love to the world around you, because then you're able to walk in the fruits of the spirit, which is love and joy and peace and patience. You're patient with people. You're kind. You have this gentleness and you have this love and this self-control that overflows because you took time to be still and you gave God access to your heart. So if you're doing it apart from him, I'm sorry, man. That's a hard, hard life. And I'm encouraging you that there's a different way to live. Get my books. Come in here for a session, do a phone session, do the Breakthrough podcast. Just go to Be Love, Give Love, click the service tab, and you can see all the things that I offer, because I deeply desire that you just show up a different way, that you learn how to live a different way. There's a different way to live. There's peace available. There's courage available. There's breakthrough available. There's comfort available. Everything you need is available. I just want to help you tap into that. So I hope this was encouraging to you. I hope you were blessed in some way. If you were, or if you know someone that could benefit from this message, please share it with them. Send it in a message, send it in, a text message or through Messenger. But anyway, I love you guys. Take care, be blessed, and always be love and give love. Bye-bye now.